Welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey. Today's tutorial we are going to do the Winter Blast hat. This is a really fun find on redheart.com. When you're looking at the original photo, you would never guess, this is why it's a fun find, that something so beautiful can be done with the pattern, because the pattern is showing a solid color. But look what you can do when you do variegated with the Red Heart Boutique Treasure, just like so. This hat was using the tapestry. I'm going to be doing today's tutorial in this one right here. And what is this one called? This is called Abstract of the Treasure line. This one is my most favorite. It is just, I love the vibrance of the oranges and reds coming together with the pinks. Now this is what is going to be happening here, and basically when you look at it from the interior, you'll see that there's no textures on the inside, but the texture is all on the outside and provides a really fun hat. Now you'll need two sizes of crochet hooks. It's asking for 5.5 millimeter and a 6.5 millimeter, and those in US measurements are size I and size K. But because I'm loose with my stitches, I'm gonna be using a 5 millimeter and a size 6 millimeter for today's tutorial. So without further ado, I'm gonna get my stitch marker and let's get started right now. As I've already suggested, we're gonna be using two size crochet hooks. You're gonna be using the smaller size. I'm using a size 5, size H today. I just know that my tension is a little bit looser compared to what the gauge is, so this is something that I know about myself. So we're going to begin by doing an adjustable ring, and it's also called a magic ring if you prefer. So take the yarn and put it into front of your hand just like so. These are your two fingers. You're going to come up underneath the two fingers and come back over top, and when you come back over top, just cross over like so, and just using another finger just to keep that cross going over like so. What I want you to do, stick your hook under the one that is crossing on the front over here, grab this yarn here, okay, and then just grab that yarn that is leading to the yarn ball at this time just to pull through. Okay, so that is a really a crude way to do it, but I'm gonna do it one more time. So in the front of your hand, go over your top of your fingers and you're gonna do a crossover. You're gonna go under the first one, grab it like so, and then grab this yarn again and pull through. And that's how you do an adjustable ring. So this ring will be completely adjustable as we go. So let's start to begin the instructions now. For the first round only, we're gonna do a slip stitch so that we can stay in balance. So to begin, we're going to do a chaining of 1, and then we're gonna do 8 single crochets. Make sure that it's going over top of these or underneath these two strings here, and we're gonna do 8. So let's just count those out. So 1, and these are single crochet, 2, 3, and 4. And we'll do 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now before you go any further, I want you to put in a stitch marker at this point. So just pull up a loop like so, so it doesn't fall out. Grab your stitch marker, could just be a spare piece of yarn. It's gonna be in my position, and I'm just going to slip my hook underneath that first stitch. Okay, grab the stitch marker and just pull through a section of there, and we know every time we get back to this in the next round that we know that we've come all the way around. Without further ado, let's just grab this string here and let's pull our circle closed, and take your time doing so. So pull your circle closed, and you're going to join it with the slip stitch in the very beginning and just pull through and through like so. And so then this can be pulled even tighter so that there is no gap in the center at this point, but you can leave that for now. To begin round number 2, we're going to start off and we're gonna chain 1, and then we're gonna put in 2 single crochets into each stitch all the way around. So we just start off with that first one like so, and we're gonna put 2 single crochets in, 1 and 2, just like so. So if there was 8 on there and you're putting in 2 single crochets into each, that means that you'll have 16 stitches by the end of it, by the time you get back around to the stitch marker. But we're no longer going to be doing anything as far as slip stitching to count our rows, so we need to move that stitch marker every time we get to that stitch marker spot so that we can count our rows effectively. Now you'll notice that this pattern has different sizes. I'm going to be doing the large version of this hat. Usually I always do the small, but I'm gonna do large today. And then essentially once you come into the one with the stitch marker, you're going to put in your 2 single crochets, and you're going to move that stitch marker up to the very last one of the 2. So right underneath that loop, put in your stitch marker, put in your hook into that stitch, and then pull that stitch marker through. So that is your new stopping point for your next round. And that concludes that one here. Don't worry about the center one. Again, we'll be dealing with that when we get closer to the end of the project. We're going to begin the next round, and this is round number 3. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the very next stitch that you run into. Very next one, just like this, and then the next one will have 2 single crochets, and you're gonna repeat that pattern all the way around for this particular revolution. So there'll be 2 in this one. So if you're repeating the pattern, the next one will be 1 by itself, so 1 single crochet, and then the next one will have 2, and I need you to repeat that all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. Coming up all the way around, and I'm just going to finish off this with the last stitch. I have 2 single crochets going into, which makes sense because I started off with 1 single crochet by itself. So the final one here with the stitch marker should have 2. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to move that stitch marker up first before I do the next step. So move that stitch marker up just like so, and what I want to do then is just join it to the very next stitch. Okay, this is the chaining that we had before, so we're just gonna join just like so, and now we're ready for the next step. Now you'll notice in the instructions that the small size only is different than from the large size. So I'm going to be doing the large. So in round number 4, you'll, if depending on what size you're doing, you're gonna follow those instructions. So for the large, I'm going to start off with a chaining of 1 first, and then I'm gonna single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next. So the first 2 we're going to start off by itself. So 1 and 2. So there was 2 by themselves, and then the third one there's going to be 2 single crochet into that one like so. So the next one then is there's 1 by itself, and the next one is 1 by itself. So you got 2 in a row, and then the next one will have 2, and please continue that same pattern all the way around. So coming up on the end of round number 4, for the large size, I'm just moving up my stitch marker at this point so I know where it is, and then just like this, and then we're gonna join it with a slip stitch like that. Okay, so that completes off round number 4 in the large size. We're now gonna begin round number 5, which is the same for both large and small, and we're gonna start texture work. But the hook that we're using now, the 5, I'm going to be switching it out, and I'm going to be doing the larger size hook. So we had to have 2 sizes. The textures are more puffier, and you'll require a bigger size. So I'm using a size 6, a size J today. So we're going to start off with, in that we're going to chain 1, and then essentially we're going to half double crochet into the next, and then slip stitch in the next, and repeat all the way around. So what we're going to do then is just the first one will be half double crochet. You may notice it's tight going into these because it's a different size hook, but bear with it, it works. So we're gonna do a half double, and then the next one is just a slip stitch. When you do slip stitches, make sure they're not too tight. You want them so that you can access them in the next round. So you're just doing half double crochet, and then followed by a slip stitch in the next one. Okay, so half double crochet in the next one like so, and then in the next one you're going to do a slip stitch and continue that same pattern going all the way around. So I'm coming all the way back around, and I wanna make sure that we're keeping in balance. So balance meaning that because we're doing textures, if you finish off, we're done half double crochet here, and if we finish off with the half double crochet, you're gonna end up with this really obvious line. So we wanna make sure that the last one is a slip stitch because the next one is a half double crochet. So we're doing the larger size version. So we're going to slip stitch into the first one, okay, and this is the single, or this is the half double. So we're going to slip stitch to begin there. So we notice that we did not do any chaining of 1. We're just gonna go in a complete round circle at this point. So we're going to then in the next one do a half double crochet, okay, and then we are going to do a slip stitch into the next, which is the half double crochet in that round there. This is what's maintaining those textures. But wait a minute, the next stitch that we're going to do is that it's going to be a half double. Okay, this is in the slip stitch one here itself, and there will be a slip stitch in that same hole. And because we still, this is obviously not big enough to go around your head, so we still have to maintain the balance of going all the way around. So the next one here, we're going to start off again, and we are going to put into a half double crochet into the next slip stitch that's available to you, and then we are going to slip stitch into the next one like so, and then we are going to half double into the next, and then in the next one we are going to slip stitch and then half double. Okay, so are you getting that pattern? I'll repeat that one more time. So the next one we are going to slip stitch, and I know that because I just finished with a half double. The next one will be a half double. The next one will be a slip stitch, and then this is the fun part again. So we're gonna do a half double and a slip stitch like so. Okay, and so then you'll see that the pattern is gonna start building up on the other side of this hat. So continue that same pattern going all the way around. When you get all the way back around, all you're just going to do then is just gonna move up that stitch marker. So you gotta make sure that you get that last one in, and we wanna make sure, because we're not slip stitching at this point, we're going in a continuous revolution so we can maintain the pattern. And the slip stitching is a bit hard to get into as you can see on camera, and but it is worth the time when you look at the stitch work that's going to be happening with this complete project. So let's move up. We're going to go to round number 7, 8 and 9, and these are all the same on both sides both sizes of your hat, and let's begin to do that now. When you get all the way back around, all you're just going to do then is just gonna move up that stitch marker. So you gotta make sure that you get that last one in, and we wanna make sure, because we're not slip stitching at this point, we're going in a continuous revolution so we can maintain the pattern. And the slip stitching is a bit hard to get into as you can see on camera, and but it is worth the time when you look at the stitch work that's going to be happening with this complete project. So let's move up. We're going to go to round number 7, 8 and 9, and these are all the same on both sizes of your hat, and let's begin to do that now. Start off, and essentially we're going to do again the opposite. So the next one here, I can see that it's a half double crochet, but also here I finished off with the half double crochet, therefore I know the first one is a slip stitch like so. So we want to slip stitch, and then we're in the next one is obviously a slip stitch, so we're gonna put in a half double crochet. So again what we're doing is we're putting in the opposite to what is in the row below. So please do that all the way around. So just continue along so that you can keep the pattern, and you can see that the textures are really starting to build on the other side. So just finishing up round number 7 just like so, and I moved the stitch marker up, and let's begin round number 8. Round number 8, we're gonna start off, and essentially we're gonna do again the opposite. So the next one here, I can see that it's a half double crochet, but also here I finished off with the half double crochet, therefore I know the first one is a slip stitch like so. So we want to slip stitch, and then the next one is obviously a slip stitch, so we're gonna put in a half double crochet. So again what we're doing is we're putting in the opposite to what is in the row below. So please do that all the way around. So just continue along so that you can keep the pattern, and you can see that the textures are really starting to build on the other side. Okay, we're gonna finish up round number 8, and I slip stitched, I have the slip stitch in the final just like so. And I'm gonna move up that stitch marker, and we're gonna do something really weird at the end of round number 9. We're gonna do something that's not really typical in a hat, but we're actually gonna turn the hat. But let's not jump ahead too far at this point. Let's finish up the round number 9. Let's start the round number 9 and finish it up. So we're gonna put the opposite again. So if I slip stitched here, that means that the next one is going to be a half double crochet. Okay, and then the next one is slip. So again it's the opposite that what is in the row below. Do you see how like the one row is sunk in? Then you can tell that's a slip stitch, and the one that's puffier is the half double crochet. So continue to do that same thing all the way around number 9, and then we're gonna change the game plan as well as changing our hook at the end of that. So we're coming all the way back around, and we are just going to put in a half double crochet as our final, and that's it. Okay, so we've come all the way back around. Half double is your final here, and I want you to move that stitch marker up before we continue at this point, because we still need to measure where we're going all the way around at this point. So I'm gonna leave out this hook. I'm going to get in my smaller hook because we're gonna change the hooks, going back tighter, and what we want to do is that we want to slip stitch to the first half double crochet, which is the very next one. So we're with the smaller hook, I'm just gonna slip stitch like so, and we're going to turn our work like so. So we very rarely do that in half stitch, but we're gonna turn our work and we're gonna move up to row number 10. Let's begin round number 10 and see where this is coming out in front because I turned it. I want to turn it so that I put that so it's in behind the other side, on the other side, just like so. And it just makes it easier to follow along. So let's begin. We are going to chain up 1 and we're going to put 1 single crochet into each one of the stitches going all the way around on this revolution. Just like that. So just go 1 single crochet all the way around. When you get all the way around, we are just going to slip stitch to the beginning chain, the beginning single crochet. We're just gonna come into the front here like so. We're not gonna turn it, we're just gonna keep on going, and let's move up to row number 11 or round number 11. Now round number 11 has both the small size and the larger size. The one in brackets is the larger size, so it says chain 1, so let's begin, and it says to single crochet in the next 3, but then you'll see 4 that's in the bracket. That means it's the larger size. So we're going to start off and I'm going to do 4 single crochets in a row. So we're still making the hat bigger. So that was 4 there, and then we're gonna put 2 into the next one. And we're gonna repeat that same pattern going all the way around. So if you were doing the smaller one, you'd only do 3 and then put in 2. Okay, so we have 1 more to go. So that was 4, and then the next one has 2, and please do that all the way around. And coming up all the way around, the last one will have 2 single crochets into the same one if your counts are proper. So we're gonna join it with then a slip stitch to the beginning. Okay, and let's move up to round number 12. Okay, we're going to chain 1 and then we're going to single crochet into each one of the stitches going all the way around again, once again. So please do that for round number 12. Let's finish up round number 12 and I'm just going to join it with the slip stitch to the top, and I wanna make sure I move that stitch marker. I haven't moved it up in the last few rounds because it's actually very easy to tell when you've gone all the way around when you're doing the slip stitching like so. But we're gonna begin to do that fancy stitching once again, going all the way around without any slip stitching. So I do want to continue to move that up if possible. So round number 13, we're going to start off, we're gonna chain 1 single, and what we're going to do for the small size, you would be doing 4 single crochets in a row, then put 2, but we're doing the larger, so we got 1, so we're gonna do a 5. So this is 3, 4 and 5, and then after you get your 5 in, the next one will be 2. So it's 2 into the same one. So the pattern is 5 single crochets. So this is 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then the next one will have 2. Please do that same thing all the way around. This is round number 13. Finishing up round number 13, the last stitch will have 2 single crochets in there. That's because it works out for that 5 to 1. So then we're just going to join it with a slip stitch to the beginning like so. And we do want to move that stitch marker up once again because in the next round we are going to be needing to worry about that at that point. So let's move up that stitch marker so it's right in the right position. And round number 14 I believe is next. Yep, it is. Round numbers 14 and 15 are actually next, and so round number 14 and 15 are identical to each other, so we're just going to chain up 1 and then we're going to single crochet into each one going all the way around, and please do that for rounds number 14 and 15. So do 2 rounds and then join me right back here and we'll begin the next part of the process. So I'm just finishing up round number 15 and I just want to join it with a slip stitch like so. And before I do anything further, I want to move up that stitch marker because we're now going to start doing some texture work once again. So I'm just going to move that up before I begin anything further. Now my stitch marker is not long enough to continue the entire hat, so I'm just going to pull up on it, pull some more out here. And what I want to do is that I want to get my larger hook again, and I want to turn my project once again, and just like this. and we're gonna begin to do the textures next. So row number 16, so let's just clarify, when I turned it, so you've been in this whole section right here, you've been going around like this. So when I turned it, you're going to go in the opposite direction, just like that. So let's begin. We are going to chain 1, and we're going to start off with the first one with being a half double crochet. So we're doing the texture work once again. We are using a larger hook, and then slip stitch in the next. So you know how to do this already. So for round number 16, you're going to do the same thing. So slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet. So I'm coming up to the end of round number 16, and my last stitch is a slip stitch, just like so, because this is my first one right here. So what I'm going to do at this point, that wasn't a slip stitch, was it? It was down like that. There we go. That is a slip stitch. And so what I want to do then is that I want to move up my stitch marker then to that spot there. So round number 17, we are going to do something very similar. So round number 17, we're gonna do the opposite. So the first one we started off with the half double, therefore this time around we want to start off with a slip stitch. So we're gonna do exactly the opposite to what's in the row below. So the next one then is a half double, and then the next one is a slip stitch, and then half and slip, and this is exactly what's opposite, which is creating the texture again on the other side, just like you had before. So please do that for round number 17. So we're just coming up to the end of round number 17, and this here is going to be a half double crochet, and I want to move up that stitch marker. And round number 18 is a really interesting one here, and we have some growing to do when we go to do that. So we're gonna be, because you'll notice that the hat is still not big enough, so especially if you're doing the large size at this point, so we still have to make it a little bit bigger, and we're gonna do that in round number 18. Okay, the best way that I can describe round number 18 for the large size is that there's six stitches that sit by themselves, and then 2 are together. So if you go 1 2 3 4 5 6, the next 2 are together. So when I go to show you this, you're gonna say, okay, I'm kinda confused, but I really want you to get the point of it's actually 6 by itself, and then 2 are together. So let's begin. We're gonna do the first one, and we're gonna do again the opposite to what it's called for. So the first one we're gonna do is a slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch, whatever. So we're gonna start off and we're going to go for slip stitch for 1. Okay, so that starts us. We're going to do a half double for 2, slip stitch for 3, half double for 4, slip stitch for 5, and half double for 6. Now we are going to put 2 stitches into this one. So if we just finished with a half double, the next one is going to be a slip stitch, and then a half double is into this one here. Okay, so let's begin again. I'm gonna show you this one more time. So the next one, if we just finish with the half double, is single. So single for 1, or slip stitch for 1, half double for 2, slip stitch for 3, half double for 4, slip stitch for 5, half double for 6. You now have your 2 in here. So this is half double, so then this means it's slip stitch for 1 and half double for 2 into the same one. Please continue that same configuration going all the way around. Let's end round number 18, and we're just going to join it, or sorry, we're going to finish it off, and we are just going to do a half double into the final, just like so. Let's finish off round number 18, and we're still continuing the same configuration going all the way around. So your final stitch then will have 2 in there, so you'll just have to keep on matching, so it'll be just make sure that. So finishing up round number 18, we just want to make sure we get to the last one just like so, and there will be 2 into there as well. So we're just finishing up round number 18. Let's begin round number 19. It says slip stitch into the to the next stitch. Okay, so we're gonna begin to do that next, and then we're just going to slip stitch into the next, just like so. And again, we're just maintaining the opposites that we have going on. So this is a slip stitch right where we are right here. So we're just going to put in a half double crochet to begin, and then the next one is slip stitch, and you're going to do that same configuration. So it's again the opposite to what is in the row below, and you want to maintain that for row number 18. We're coming up to the end of row number 19, and we just want to move up that stitch marker one more time. Again, we're gonna keep moving that until we're done this project, and now we're going to begin the next round. And again, the next one, row number 20, is the opposite of what is in the under row. So we just finished off with a half double, so that means that we're just gonna start off with the slip stitch and then half double and continue that same configuration going all the way around. So please do that for row number 20 or round number 20. We're just finishing up round number 20, and we want to go through right to the end, and we just want to join it with a slip stitch just like so. So what we're going to do then is that we're going to move up that stitch marker. We're going to change out the hook once again. We're gonna go to a smaller hook because we're only doing the bigger one hook for the texture work. So let's put in our hook, but before I do so I want to turn the project so we're back looking at it from this point of view, and when we start we're going to be going this way instead. So let's begin. We're gonna start off with rounds number 21 going all the way to 24. Let's begin round number 21. We're gonna start off with a chaining of 1, and then we're just going to single crochet into each one going all the way around. Every time you get back around, just join it with a slip stitch and then start again, chain 1 and then slip stitch single crochet all the way around. Please do that for 4 rows. This will be rows number 21 all the way to 24. Just get your sheet of paper and just mark it off as you go and continue along, and I'll meet you back at the end of round number 24, and we're gonna do some more texture work at that time. I'm just finishing up round number 24, and I've done my slip stitch, and now I'm ready to switch off my crochet hook again. We're gonna do some more texture work, and for rows number 25 all the way to 29, it's a total of 5 rounds going all the way around. I want to turn my project again. Let's move that yarn on the other side so it's in behind, and we're going to begin again. So we're going to start off, and you know exactly what you're doing at this point. So the first one we're going to start off with a half double crochet and then a slip stitch into the next, and you're gonna continue to do that all the way around. When you get back to here you're just gonna put the opposite, so then this will be a single crochet and then a half double over this, and you're gonna continue to do this for 5 revolutions as we do, just to make sure that we get that texturing right. And then when we come back I'll be finishing up round number 29, and then we're going to repeat this row, this whole section once again, what you see here plus the texture that you're going to do, and then you're completely finished off the hat at that time. I'm coming up to the end of round number 29. I want to join it to the beginning, and this time we are going to have 10 more rows left. But here's the thing, the pattern is really quite simple, and of course I need to find a pair of scissors off camera here, and what we need to do at this point is that we need to switch off our crochet hook. So we got 10 more rows to go, and I want to turn our work, and I want to put the yarn in behind like before. So what we have here is in the pattern is that we just need to repeat again the last 2 sections. So see this single crochet section here and this textured, we need to repeat this one more time. So I've turned my work. I'm going to do 5 rows of single crochet just like we already done, and then we're going to do 5 more rows of the texture work then to complete off this hat. Just remember that when you finish the single crochet section here, you need to turn your work so that the texture will appear, because you can see the other side of this hat, there's nothing there. So the texture only appears if you turn the project once you get to that section. So continue to make this hat, and when we come back I'll have this hat completely done, and then you can opt to do a pom-pom at the top of the hat. I'm going to leave this one without because I already have one with the pom-pom, and you can see that you can really make some great decisions on what you want to do. I think the pom-pom, I'm a pom-pom lover myself, I think the pom-pom looks great, but it's nice to have options. So continue rounds, all the remaining rounds of the 2 sections, and it's 10 more rows, and then once you got that done you got a hat that's ready to go. So I've now just finished the first section here, and I have one more texture to go before I continue, but I want to share a little tip with you. If you look at the photograph that's provided in the pattern, you'll notice that the front of the hat, it's not rolled. It's actually like a slouchy, and so basically the texture appears right from the start of the hat right up until the end. But I have to say, I'm 41 years old. I like to roll my hats. It's just a personal preference. I like it. I like the way it looks. I think I look better with it rolled up. That's a personal choice. Here's what the thing is though. If I like to roll my hat, you're actually looking at the underside of the hat, and the texture is actually under the brim. So if I want to roll my hat, so this is a choice for you, that when you come to this part of the tutorial at the very end and you're gonna do the last 5 rows like so, what I'm going to do here, because I'm not gonna roll my hat, oh sorry, I'm gonna roll my hat. So I'm gonna roll my hat. So I wanna have the texture appear on the brim on the outside, because if I continue the way the pattern is, it's gonna be on the underside of the brim. So in order to achieve that look, all you have to do is not turn your work. So right now, if you wanna do the texture, you wanna turn your work and then begin, because the texture appears on the other side. So if I want it to appear on the brim and I roll the brim, I want it to appear on this side. Therefore I'm just gonna carry on. I'm not gonna turn my project anything special, and I'm going to begin to do my half double crochets and single my slip stitches without turning my hat in any particular direction. So if you want to have the texture appear on the outside of the brim because you're gonna roll up the hat, then do not turn the project at the end, because then the texture will appear, so you can roll it up and see it when you have it rolled up. So that's just hopefully that makes any sense to you, and if it doesn't, sorry about that, but that just is a really great tip, because I like to have my brims rolled up. It's just a personal thing. When you get all the way finished your hat, you just want to sew in or weave in your end with a darning needle, and the darning needle does a really great finish. You go in 3 different directions. That was 1, and I'm just sliding underneath the fibers for 2, and again the 3rd. So the hat is impossible to be able to come out when it goes in 3 directions like this, so that you don't have any tails falling out as you're wearing your hat down the street. Now because I never turned it like I was supposed to as per the pattern, I like to flip up my hat. So let's get out that stitch marker just like so, and now here is the outside. I just have to deal with that one at the top. I'm just gonna pull it tight, and I'm gonna use a darning needle. So now I have the texture on the outside, and on camera I'm not sure you can see it that great, but now I can flip up the top of the hat like so, and I also have texture on the outside of the brim, because I never decided to follow the pattern just like the other one. So the other one is more flat. So now I can flip up my brim, and I have texture here, and it goes into the texture here, or I can leave it flat just like so, and either way you have a great hat. And then you can just add a pom-pom to it or anything that you wish, and it's a really great idea. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. Enjoy this free tutorial called the Winter Blast Hat. Stay tuned for more free patterns and ideas, and always check out redheart.com for free patterns and ideas as well. Until then, we'll see you.